Hey everyone, welcome to the Clydesdale Fitness and Friends. My name is Scott Switzer. I am your host and I am the Clydesdale. We love to do fitness and these are my friends. Tonight I have Amy and Kat as always, and
Hi.
We have our special guest and sponsor, Dave Newman. Dave, how you doing?
Doing great, guys. Thanks for having me.
So we so appreciate you coming on. It's a great time of the month to kind of get some questions to you from our audience and get some feedback from you. And where I'm going to start with is, last time we were on was before phase one of the games, and you had a little secret in your back pocket that you didn't let on to, but you sponsored Awful Annie at phase one of the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell us how that kind of came about, and did you have any decision-making into making that a drag rope?
No decision-making whatsoever. So for the last, I don't know how many years, I would send ropes to Dave Castro. He used to live down close to me in Southern California. So I would, a few years back, Zeus rope was our half-pound, cable jump rope. And I would mail them to his house and say, Dave, a little note, try these out. Like, these are great. It's a great training stimulus. I know a lot of people aren't using them yet. And it's happened. Actually, I'm almost batting 1,000 in a sense that each time I've done that, he's super busy, so I don't fault him at all. But it always falls to the wayside, and I don't hear back from him for weeks and weeks and weeks. Back in 2016, when I sent him Zeus ropes, he finally came down to our headquarters here, and he was doing drop-ins at all the affiliates, and so he wanted to pop in and do a workout with us. So we had him do a workout with the Zeus ropes, and he was blown away. Like, he goes, man, that was awesome. And so I didn't hear from him for a while, and they ended up putting heavy ropes in the 2016 games, and that was the year that we were a bigger sponsor, and it was the last year at the Carson, StubHub Center, and they put heavy ropes in, but they used Rogue's heavy rope. They didn't use ours, and he wanted to use ours. He sent me a nice note saying, hey, I wanted to use the Zeus, but Rogue wanted to use their rope, and so everybody thought it was our rope anyway, and we sold out, so it worked out great. So I asked Dave's permission. I'm like, well, can I get credit for influencing or inspiring you to use the heavy rope? He said, absolutely. So we got to get that one in there in 2016, and then a few months back, I sent him a pack of drag ropes, and I sent one straight to his house, and I sent the other set to the ranch with a nice little note, same thing. And I added in the note that, Rogue, we've had a great relationship with Rogue for over a decade. They've been selling our jump ropes, since 2010, and they sell our drag ropes. So I put a note in there saying, hey, Rogue sells our drag ropes, so hopefully Bill and Katie wouldn't mind, putting these in there. So I didn't hear from him again. He literally told me they sat in the corner of his office for a couple months. And then he finally was heading to the airport to go meet with Eric Rosa and Nicole Carroll, happened to open the package, saw what was there, threw it in his travel bag, went to Boulder, and decided to challenge Eric Rosa and Nicole Carroll to a double under contest. And he said, look, I've never used these. They were still packaged up in their packaging, so we'll all be from scratch, all three of us. So they did a little contest, first one to 100 double unders. Dave won, and they filmed it and tagged us on social media, and then he and I had a little conversation about it, and, very just superficial. And then a few weeks later, after that, he called me up and said, we want to use the drag rope. Let's make it happen. We're like, cool, whatever you need, we'll be there. So yeah, we sent them all to Rogue, and they got sent all over the world to the different judges and whatnot who hand carried them in. So none of the athletes knew. So yeah, that was super exciting. That was super cool to see that.
Well, and Kat and I got a firsthand look at the drag rope at the Masters Fitness Collective.
Yeah.
Because I judged, Kat was head judge, and we got to see them in action really close and got to count them. And they're much easier to count than the traditional rope.
A lot slower. Yeah. A lot more visible. You can hear the sound really well, and a lot slower.
Yeah. So they're a lot of fun, but they they put it on the athlete pretty quick.
Yeah.
But that was cool to see you guys in the games, phase 1. So that's pretty cool. The next thing I have for you is a little story. My best friend listened to the podcast you were on, said, I'm going to order a thicker rope so I can get more resistance in my workout. Did his first workout with the heavier rope and said his calves were so sore and his shoulders were so sore from doing that one workout with the heavy rope.
Nice.
So kudos to you and shout out to Sprinkles. He's the one who did the workout. But kudos to you for mentioning that as a way to get more resistance in a workout, because it was super effective.
Cool. Very cool. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
I've actually had several athletes, though, actually at the gym come up to me, though, and ask me, hey, should I get a thicker rope? But, I'm trying to get the double unders. I'm having trouble. And I was like, hey, come on the podcast, ask about it. And yes, you should.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Very cool. Yeah, that's it. You know what? It's a secret weapon, it shouldn't be a secret. We've been spouting about it for over a decade now that, just enough resistance, right? Enough resistance allows people to slow down. And that's the big key, right? Is you can feel the rope while it's moving slower. A lighter rope, you have to move it faster. And, to get any feeling of resistance, it has to move fast, right? That feeling of inertia. And then now it's moving too fast for people to develop good timing. So it just allows you to slow things down and gain awareness. So good deal.
Yeah. So I have a quick question. When you're switching out the cables, that key ring, the small tiny key ring, is there a trick to getting the cable switched out where you're not ripping your fingernails off?
I know. Yeah. Fingernails are rough, guys.
I use a credit card. A credit card works really well. The corner of a credit card, and you sort of turn it sideways. That's how I do it.
Good. That's smart. I like that. MacGyver.
Yeah.
So this is my little travel tool pouch here that I take with me whenever I know I'm going to be around athletes, and it has all of my tools. But so you really can use anything. Credit card's fantastic. A nail file or a flat tip screwdriver. We sell a little gizmo called a Keyring Magic, and it's just a simple little plastic kind of handle that has a thin little metal, kind of like a nail file that retracts out, and it just allows you to get between the groove and pry it open. But if you're a professional, you use these. So these little guys, and we sell these too, but these are they're called split ring pliers. So you can grab them, it splits them apart to get the cable started. Then you use these to actually grab the ring and feed it around, So our staff is really fast using those tools. But I know that a fingernail, you could do it, but it's a tough one.
I lost a whole nail. No, not really.
That's a great question. That's a good question, though.
That is a really good question. Absolutely. Honestly, that's one of the that key ring and the ability to switch that out is honestly one of the things that I keep trying to think of a correction for, if you will, or something better. But that's one of the pitfalls of having a fixed length rope that won't fail you. You know what I mean? Is that it's not as quick to take off or remove, but it's also not as quick to fail when you don't want it to. So
and I totally get that. So we also had a question from one of our listeners, Michael Andrak, and he wanted to know what part of the how do I want to say this? I'm trying to paraphrase it. What is the gosh, I'm just brain dead tonight. So what part of your body is going to fail first when you're doing jump ropes? Or is that dependent on the athlete? Are your calves going to give out first? Are your shoulders going to give out first? If you're doing it with the proper technique, what would that be?
Well, there you go. Good. I'm glad you qualified that, because that's, let's start with that, because there's so many different techniques out there that people are doing things usually inefficiently. So that's really it could be a loaded question. But with good technique, honestly, most people, it's going to be their shoulders. Arms and shoulders will fry out. Rarely do you hear people stop and try and catch a breather because their legs were too smoked and they couldn't bounce, right? Although I'm sure that's happened, and I'm sure some, what was the open workout that started off with, is it 150 wall ball into 90 double unders and then muscle ups or something like that?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I remember coming off the wall ball, and the first time I did that open workout, I was going to just try and go for broke and just max out my wall ball, and got, I don't know, 80 or 90, before I finally broke it up. And by the time I got to the rope, my legs were dead. Like I couldn't jump. I needed to take a few seconds and hop around just to kind of get the blood flushed out of my legs. So, that does happen, but typically it's usually people fry out. Even people with good technique who are just, have a good tempo and are efficient, it's usually going to be the shoulders and arms.
Limiting factor was the term I was looking for, but we got there anyway.
There you go. Yeah, it all works. Perfect.
All right. So now we're going to go to our special video of Amy. And so I'm going to preface this by, we did a head-to-head competition with Amy and Kat. They did Awful Annie.
Ooh.
Wow. A modified.
As a modified version of that, just to kind of be able to say how it felt to go through that. Right.
It's a lot of GHD.
Yes. So
no
that's
GHD.
Smart. That's smart.
I don't have one. Sorry.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to pull up the video of Amy. So when she went in, started her double unders, she started spinning like a top.
Okay. Hold the phone.
She
Here's the
rotates. She rotates.
I do. But here's the deal. So just so you know, I've come a really long way in my double under journey, because I used to donkey kick and then I piked and I stopped doing that. So now I have a thing where I do like around the worlds.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're going to show you the video and get your impressions of her thing. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. And okay, there we go. And you guys are covering her up. There we go. All right. Can you see her?
There we go. Yep. All right. Looking good. I don't see any turning yet.
Is this the right video?
No, it's not.
Yeah, that's not the right video.
That's the one you sent me, Miss Amy.
Oh, well, I sent you two, but yes, that was another one where I redid.
That's perfect, Amy. You fixed your problem.
But look, that one side always goes out longer than the other one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you notice your right hand is pushing farther away from your hip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that.
Typically what that's going to do, actually I can see it when the rope drops down. Typically that's going to pull the rope closer to your opposite side, your left shoe,
Okay.
although with that angle I can't tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to trip yourself up on that right foot eventually.
Well, usually it would be the left foot. If your right hand's pushing away, you're kind of pulling all the rope slack to one side. It gets tied on the opposite
Oh, I
side,
see. Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
and also your left hand is your lower hand. Yeah, so I mean, there's definitely some little balance cues that you can work on to try and even them up just to get some better spacing. But yeah, you definitely have the tempo and the rhythm down great.
Okay. Well, yeah, that was it. But I do a little spinny round thing.
Spinning one, huh?
Yeah.
But that was you in that last video, right?
Yeah, but I wasn't doing it that time. But let me tell you why I think that time was better is I was filming myself and I was watching myself on the screen.
Yeah.
So you had to watch yourself.
So I think that was helpful. But sometimes I try to pick a point to look at and I'll still start spinning, but I'm still trying to look at the point.
That is funny.
Yeah.
That is
I
real
love it.
funny. Hey, if you can do it without tripping and you've got enough room in your gym that, you're not going to trip up with somebody else, then, whatever, so be it. But usually we'll just try and start minimizing all the variables in your extremities, right? Because it's just an imbalance of either the way you're pushing off the ground with your feet. So we just try and bring the feet closer together and get them to be one unit. Try and get the arms brought in a little bit more symmetrical. A lot of times that happens too because one arm is over revving and that just causes a little bit of shifting. So yeah, a couple of things you can play with, but yeah, you did it. Find a focal point and stay on it.
Okay.
But if you're not tripping, then it's not the end of the world at all.
Okay.
Cool. Do we get to see cats or what?
Well, Kat
They're
actually
amazing,
was. I will have cats for you next month.
I had the my Evo handles for this one
Oh,
because I wanted
nice.
to go fast.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Yeah, but I struggle with, I actually have to use a longer rope than what is prescribed for my height. I'm only 5'2", and
Okay.
I use like the next one up, whatever like the
Okay.
5'5" plus is.
Right.
For some reason, I have to have the rope hit the floor in front of me. I can't have, if I don't hear it, and I tend to have my arms up a little bit higher because my arms tire out real fast. And I try to correct it, but it's just, I've done it for so long now that I'm just in this rhythm where I like to keep my hands up high and I need a longer rope.
Yeah. So listen, what I tell everybody is if you're happy with your fitness and you like what you're doing, there's no need to change, right? Absolutely not. It's the people that say, hey, I feel like I'm this far, but I think I could get better. And then they're ready to kind of go down that lumpy road of regressing a little bit in order to make some improvements. So, I tell people all the time, I was just out at Power Monkey last week doing our seminar, every day. And it's like, look, if you're happy, take what we offer you as far as efficiencies and cues and techniques, take and use the ones you like, discard the ones that you don't like. It's your fitness. It's whatever you want to do, so as long as you keep fitnessing, that's all we care about.
I saw some footage of you guys at Power Monkey. What is your role there?
So, we teach one of the stations. We have the jump rope or the double under station. Dave Durante, he teaches all of the. There's one of my Power Monkey coaches. Sorry, I didn't silence my phone. So Dave Durante, former Olympian, gymnastics Olympian. So he teaches, the handstand workshop. Chad Vaughn teaches the snatch or clean and jerk. A whole other cadre of gymnastic coaches teach muscle ups, pull ups, all the different gymnastics movements. We have a two-time Olympian and gold medal winning rowers teaching a rowing station. So we're the little station that teaches jump rope. And we're a sponsor. We've been a sponsor from the beginning, and those guys had the concept like back in 2013 and brought it to me and said, hey, we have this idea, like, what do you think? And I'm like, it's amazing. I'm in, let's go. What do we need to do? And we sponsored it and promoted it, brought a bunch of athletes along, and it is just a great time. Yeah. So that's what we do. And we have a good time. A lot of fun.
I want to go. I want to do that so badly. I want to go.
You know what?
It's like, that'll be like my fantasy camp week,
And you may not only go once. We have so many campers that come back again. Multiple visits, and because it's a super fun week. It's really full week of learning. Like you're not going there to do workouts and get crushed by coaches. It's not that at all. You go and you learn technique, you learn fundamentals, you learn discipline, and then you work out when you want to work out, right? So during each segment, you're active. The coaches have you performing so they can cue you and correct you and things like that. But they're not putting you through rigorous workouts or anything like that, right? So, but in between all the sessions, there's a lot of time to work out. And man, I tell you, the first couple of years that, we've been part of camp for 7 years now. We just did our 14th camp. We do 2 a year, a spring and a fall. And, first few years it was, working out was like, candy. Hey, want some candy? Yeah, let's go. Hey, want some candy? Yeah, let's go. And we're just doing wads left and right. And finally I had to get to a point where I'm like, you kids go work out. I did my one a day. I'm good,
Yeah.
You guys absolutely should try and come out to it. It's so much fun. So much fun. There's campfires with s'mores and beer or wine.
I'm in.
And you know what I mean?
Sounds like a good team building exercise for the three of us.
Yeah,
we should probably get on that.
Absolutely. It's not just the learning aspect of it. It's the whole environment and just the camaraderie in the community. And, we were bummed. This last camp was kind of a warm up, kind of like, COVID warm up to get new protocols into place and whatnot. So it was a lot smaller, attendance level. And we normally have anywhere from, I think our biggest year we had 17 countries, foreign countries, visitors come participate in the camp. They come out like it's a vacation, and that just brings so much, international flavor and energy. And this year we didn't have any any foreigners, because of obviously all the travel bans and restrictions. So, but it was still super fun camp. Next one will be early May of 2021. So put it on the calendar.
All right.
Yeah.
And where's the location?
It's in a place called Crossville, Tennessee. So it's 30 minutes east of Mayhem of Cookeville, Tennessee.
Oh, that's not even a bad drive.
No,
for us.
No, not at all. And it's when you get there, I mean, you pay your fee and you pay to get yourself there. And once you're on campus, basically, everything. I mean, you have housing. You're going to stay in a bunkhouse with a handful of other people. There's a chow hall with 3 beautifully prepared meals a day. So you'll eat more than, like, I literally only eat 2 meals a day when I go because I end up overeating. It's just too much food. And there's a little store that you can get some other little knickknacks, items, and everything's covered. You're set. So all you gotta do is pay and get yourself there, and you're good. You guys will love it.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, a week and a half out from phase 2 of the CrossFit Games, your thoughts about going into the 2020 version of the CrossFit Games. It's a little bit weird. We had to accommodate the whole COVID thing, but top 5 women, top 5 men are going to battle it out in a week and a half.
Yeah, man.
Any thoughts?
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be pretty exciting, just kind of because it's going to be so hyper focused on just those 5. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to watch all the earlier heats of people that are kind of on the lower tier just to get to, the kind of, the highlight athletes, if you will. And with a couple of, new names and faces in the mix, mainly on the guys side, I think, be really interesting, having some of these young guns kind of come up and show their stuff. So I'm pretty excited about it. I mean, we know a lot of the athletes that are there, and a lot of them are ambassadors, if not users of our gear. So we're pretty stoked for that. I'm actually going to be up there helping the catering portion of it. Our friends that cater the Power Monkey camp, and they're the chefs that provide all the healthy meals, are catering the games, and they asked me to come up and help with logistics and running food to different locations and things like that. So unfortunately, I won't get inside the bubble. I'll be, outside just handing off and driving away, but at least I'll get to go, hang out and help out. And so it'll be fun. I can't wait to watch it on the live stream. Yeah, it should be good. It should be real good.
Yeah, we're excited. Live competition. It'll be fun.
Yeah. And there's going to be a lot of good coverage, it sounds like. A lot of really good live stream, and CBS, right, is covering it as well?
Right.
Yeah. So should be pretty cool. I can imagine with only having, 10 total athletes. I mean, if you go back to whatever year it was, 2014, 15, when Castro flew everybody from Carson to Aromas to go do all those events at Aromas and fly them back. If you think about the logistics of doing that and how ballsy that was, and to just have 10 to focus on, I mean, sky's the limit. They could do so many things with those athletes. I mean, I can't even fathom. So should be good. I'm really looking forward to it. So keep our fingers crossed.
Well, thank you so much, Dave, for joining us. We appreciate you so much. These little Wednesday once a monthers are a lot of fun for us.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for having me on. It's always great catching up with you guys and hearing what's going on. I want to see some more double under videos.
All right.
And I like your shirt. The shirt looks good on you.
Yeah.
Love it.
Awesome, guys.
Yeah. So we'll ask our listeners to send more videos in, and we'll get those up for you for next time.
Yeah, perfect. Would love to.
Awesome. We'll see you soon, Dave.
Okay, guys. Be good.
Right.
Take care.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Wow, he's just an awesome guy. And don't forget, to our listeners, Clydesdale 15, all caps, 15% off anything in the store. If you want to rip your nail off, getting a new cable and putting it on, or get one of those fancy tools to be able to do it really quick, you can get those too.
Credit cards.
Yeah, you got to use the fancy credit card.
Or a nail file. I just don't have a nail file around.
Gotta get you one.
All right, guys. So the CrossFit Games Schedule is out and published.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like a jam-packed 3 days. And Castro came out today and said day one will be the biggest day one ever. And since we last talked, he also put out the clue of 2007 or 2020 day one equals 2007 plus more. So we talked last week about what we wanted to see. And I said, I'd like to see something from 2007. And we're getting the whole shebang.
Turns out you're getting all of it. Yep. You're getting all of it.
But the one thing I didn't describe correctly, as I've learned this week, is the event that I picked that I wanted, which was the 1,000-meter row and the 25 pull-ups and 7 push jerks, 5 rounds for time, was actually the hopper workout, where they drew out of the big hopper, and that's what came out.
Yep.
So it would be really cool if that's what we get.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if there's something on Saturday for the live feed. They talk about a 10-minute window from like 2:00 to 2:10. They're going to be live streaming. And Armin was saying his theory was that that's going to be the 10 minutes where they go through the hopper and pick the events and announce what's going to happen at like 5:00 or whatever is the next time slot for them to go, which is interesting because I can't see an event being a 10-minute event.
Yeah.
Like what could they do in 10 minutes? I don't know. And I also heard today that the majority of the events are going to be in Morgan Hills, not at the ranch.
Oh.
So that the ranch is going to play like a very small role in the actual location venue of the events, and that most everything else is going to be in the Morgan Hills area.
And where is Morgan Hills?
Somewhere in California, close to Aromas, I would imagine.
You sounded so confident.
I just looked it up and it said something about California, whatever the county is, Santa Clara County, so it's somewhere nearby. And that was directly from Dave. So
basically on Friday, there's an 8 to 9:30 window, and all these times are Pacific. So add,
oh crap. Okay. Yeah.
So
thanks.
add 3 hours if you're Eastern time zone. So 8 to 9:30, 11:30 to 1, 2 to 2:10, which makes sense that could be the hopper, and then 4 to 5:30.
Okay.
Then on Saturday, you have 10 to noon.
And that's on CBS, right?
Correct. That is the one time frame
Live.
that's on CBS. 1:20 to 2:10 and 4 to 4:40. Again, all Pacific. And then Sunday is 10 to 10:50, 12 to 12:30, and 3 to 4.
Dave also mentioned that the final workout is going to be epic.
Okay.
That was his
And
other hint.
you can view all of this.
That's so descriptive of
Right.
Sorry, go ahead, Scott.
And you can view all this on thegames.crossfit.com, Pluto TV, Facebook, and YouTube,
Very cool.
with the exception of 10 to noon on Saturday, which is on CBS. But the good news, I think, for all of this is that CBS will have their cameras there to film the whole thing. And probably that's what's being used for the stream. And then CBS will have the rights to re-air stuff at a later date. Kind of like those recap shows that we've gotten in the past.
Okay.
Did we lag a lot there?
No.
Okay. All right. So
We'll have one more episode next Wednesday too, where we'll probably learn more and be able to talk a little bit more right before the games. So
yeah, and we might even have a couple event announcements by then.
Yep.
All right. So Morning Chuck Up has Guess the Finish competition out there. They kind of did that with phase 1 to see who was going to qualify for the games. And
nobody
nobody
won.
got it. So what they've done is they've extended it to phase 2. And if you can pick the order on both sides, then you win.
Whoa.
No pressure.
So any initial thoughts? We won't lock you into that as your prediction.
I mean, I'll start. I'm going with Fraser, Medeiros, Olson, Adler, Quant. And for the women, I'm going Tia, Haley, Katrin, Brooke, Carrie.
All right, here's where I'll go. I'm going to say Matt, Noah, Justin, Adler, and Sam. On the ladies, I'm going to say Tia, Katrin, Carrie, Brooke, and Haley.
Sounds good.
And you?
Guess we can move on.
What about yours?
Mine's almost the same as Kat's on the female side. I'll switch 4 and 5 and go Quant Adler just to be different.
Okay.
And then on the female side, I will go Brooke, Tia,
Whoa.
Haley, Katrin, Carrie.
Interesting.
No way. You're so wrong on that. Look, I just had to disagree with you.
I'm just tired I'm just tired of picking the same people to win every year.
Yeah.
I am too.
Just has a different focus, and she did really well at phase 1. I'm giving her due, and hopefully this is her year.
Yeah. I wish she had moved a little bit sooner. Like I wish she had, 6 more months under her belt at Trivium and, in Nashville doing all that. But yeah, she's looking good.
Yeah.
I would agree.
So, Sara was a big topic of conversation in phase 1. And did you guys see the explanation that came out about why she finished so low?
Yeah.
So she did a box jump. She missed it. Like we all have done in our past, and lost a battle with the box. Got an infection they were unable to clear up until pretty close to phase 1. And her cortisol levels were super low, making it very hard.
I don't know enough about cortisol levels to know how that affects you. I would have thought that high cortisol, I know high cortisol is not good either.
Right, because that's like high stress, or that's like the stress.
Yeah. Right. So so I don't understand how low would affect you, but maybe it's
too low that you just don't even care.
Have no energy. Yeah, I don't know. You don't even care.
Yeah.
I still think she needs a coach, and she needs to be in a different, training environment. So
yeah,
cortisol or not. But there was clearly something. I mean, it was completely uncharacteristic of her entire performance. So that it makes sense that there was something going on there.
Yeah, I feel like she's either making excuses or she's the most snake bitten athlete we have right now.
Yeah.
Well, my theory that I said about during the Titan Games. If I was in the Titan Games and I was losing, I would totally fake an injury.
Right.
It's possible.
It's like every 12-year-old baseball player or every 12-year-old pitcher on the mound that just starts holding his arm, when he can't throw. My arm hurts.
All right. So I've probably done that once or twice. I'm just trying to move on.
For sure.
Right?
I've seen it a million times.
All right. So now's the time we're gonna check in with everybody.
Okay.
It's been a rough week at the Clydesdale Ranch. We've lost a couple very dear people in the lives of the cast here.
Yep.
And Kat lost her grandfather last Friday. And on that same day, I lost my dad. And so we're coping, we're leaning on each other. So glad to have you guys as friends during this time and being able to reach out and talk to you guys, even in the hills of Pennsylvania. When I go on top of the hill to be able to get self-service.
Right.
But we're coping and we're moving on and doing the thing we love to kind of keep moving on. But Kat has a big day tomorrow, and my thoughts and prayers are with her.
Thank you.
And we'll get through it as a team.
Yeah, we're bummed that my grandfather's going to get buried at a veterans cemetery, and we can't coordinate like a proper military burial because of COVID, because we wanted to do like the color guard and the 21 gun salute and all that kind of stuff. My mom's kind of bummed that we can't do that, so it kind of stinks.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So I think November 7th, we're holding a memorial service for my dad, and we are going to be able to have the 21 gun salute because he's a veteran as well.
Awesome.
And it'll just be in the church parking lot at the memorial service. So I don't know. I think that'll be cool. He deserves it, but it's going to be a sad day.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's a weird time because with COVID, we couldn't have a funeral.
Yeah.
So it's just, I feel bad for anybody who loses somebody during this pandemic because it's harder to grieve because you don't get the typical times to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's a bummer.
All right. So other than that, you guys doing okay?
Yeah, college applications are due tomorrow.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'll tell you a funny story. His essay was due to me on Friday night. I said, I want to see your essay. Let's give it to me Friday so we can if we need to make some edits or just change direction, just give me a heads up. I don't want to be doing this the last minute. Okay, Mom, give it to you. So Friday night comes and goes. I don't get an essay. I get you'll get it on Sunday, Mom. You get it on Sunday.
Wait, who has somebody turn in a college application on a Friday night?
Well, I wanted to see it Friday night so that I could work on it because I knew he's not going to work on it over the weekend.
Right.
And it coincided with an English assignment that was due Sunday night because apparently the essay that he's doing for the English class is going to be the essay that he submits for whatever.
Yeah.
So
Nate's doing that same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because the teachers help you out.
Yeah.
So it was due at 11:59 on Sunday night, and I'm staying up, and I said, dude, can I see the essay? Can I see the essay? Yeah, he's like, it's going to be a little different than the one I submit to, colleges, but I'm working on it. And then I just bugged him a couple more times. Then I get this text. I get his exact words. Well, technically, I don't have to send it to you. It's my essay, not yours. That was the text. And I was like, well, technically, I don't have to pay for college. So don't play this game with me, please. Give me your effing essay. So I finally got the essay, and we ended up rewriting the whole thing basically, like complete. The topic was not appropriate, and it was bad. So we worked on it last night.
I was lucky there. My daughter's a good writer, and she killed that part of her application.
I mean, and he's gonna get academic money for sure, just his grades and his testing and everything else. But it's like everything has to be perfect because, yes, he's getting baseball money, but it's not 100%. And I don't want to pay for college. So it's very important that, we get all this other stuff in. So after tomorrow, I will feel much more relaxed that everything is done. it's very nerve-wracking only applying to one college. Like that's, and he's got his verbal offer to play baseball and signing days coming up and all that, but it's just weird. I'm like, are you sure? Like we shouldn't apply somewhere else just in case. And no, just the one place. So it's an unusual experience.
Wow. So Emmy, I heard you caused a stir.
I did.
A little social media.
Oh,
we going
about
there?
that. Yeah, we can go there.
Sweet. Okay, go ahead.
So,
And I have copies that I can show on a screen share if
okay,
you'd like to.
sure.
So do you want me to show the first one?
Sure. So Kat shared in our group text something that she saw on social media. And she was, just saying that, wow, this is kind of shocking / not shocking. And it left me like unsettled. And there's some things I get super passionate about, and like something about seeing this triggered some of that passion. So I was like, I'm going to rewrite this thing to make myself feel better, So this was up there, and this was the first thing. So I'm going to read it because I think you need to hear it. So you can't help everyone. Oh, so go back. So this was listed on a social media page, and it said Life Coaching 101. Okay. It says, and this is from a level 4 CrossFit coach.
Seminar staff.
You can't help everyone. Some people are dumb or lazy or selfish or just complete egomaniacs. That's okay. It's not your job to change everyone. Some people don't want to change or think that they need to. Ultimately, they have to live with themselves. So that was that. And then I decided to pull out a piece of paper and rewrite it. So I did.
Okay.
Okay. But when I rewrote it, I had to write those words and physically cross them out to show what I was rewriting. So I rewrote it as, okay, you can't help everyone. Cross out. Every client is worthy of coaching. Some people are dumb or lazy or selfish or just complete egomaniacs. Cross out. Some people have a tougher shell / exterior due to past trauma or life experiences. I kept, that's okay. It's not your job to change everyone. Crossed off. It's your job to treat everyone with respect and to build a relationship with your clients. Some people don't want to change. Crossed off. Some people need more time and support to change or think they need to. Cross. It's not our job to determine their worth. Every client is worthy of coaching. I also left this part. Ultimately, they have to live with themselves. That's true. I hope to be a part of their journey. So that's my life coaching. I just feel that as a coach, I'll just use one part of my personality. I agree that there's some people that just may not be ready or ready to change or do something. But I feel as a coach, you need to have a more positive mindset.
Yeah. And I mean, we don't know the context of, that was just sort of put on his story in some way, like who knows what prompted that. But I think, without the context and just seeing it, it definitely felt negative and sort of, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, just like overcritical or something.
As a level 4 seminar staff member, don't you think that you should think about maybe the lack of context and what people may take from that before you just blindly post?
Perhaps, yes.
Yeah. And I guess because it specifically said life coaching, like that we're giving a life lesson here. Okay, well, you can be firm, but in a different mindset. So I do want to acknowledge that I did private message this person. And I said to them, wondering if you're open to a different mindset or perspective. And I sent that to him, and he just responded with, I love it. Thank you. So nothing else. But I wasn't really sending it because I wanted to engage in this conversation with him. It was more like, again, I just want to offer that there's a different perspective. So maybe he'll think next time about his words and maybe choose them a little bit more carefully or more positively. So
if this was just posted by an athlete, or that's one thing. This is a person who teaches people how to coach.
mm-hmm.
And that is where I think it's a little more frustrating than just a blind post by someone who should know better.
And should do better.
Yeah. But thank you for sharing.
Yeah, that was awesome. Good job.
So, and anything else going on in your life this week?
Playoff football game is tonight, or is Friday. So
This is a must win.
well, I mean, yeah, they're out. I mean, they're allowed to then continue to play games if they want to, but just to play. But so yeah. Every Friday night that we get, I'm just happy that we get a Friday night. And so I had the offensive line team over again tonight for dinner, and we cooked 10 pounds of tater tots.
Oh my gosh.
10 pounds of tater tots.
Where do you cook that? Over a campfire?
To be honest, Scott did it. He said it took 5 cookie sheets.
Yeah, 5 batches.
Yeah, 5 batches.
I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
Now I want tater tots.
But it's cool that you guys do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, to be able to do that for bonding and it's so nice. I mean, they sit outside, so it's not like I'm, screwing with their COVID regulations. Like everybody is, sitting outside, and we serve them, and so.
The bad thing about playoff football is it's an abrupt end to your year.
And it's usually a negative end when it's
Right.
over. For most teams.
Yeah. Except for one. Right.
Right. Unless you're state champion,
Right.
it's a negative end for everybody else.
Everybody else gets a negative end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Oh, good. Well, I hope you get a couple more weeks then.
Yeah, me too.
For me, been back and forth to Pennsylvania so many times already. Actually going back tomorrow, just to help my mom out with a couple projects that my dad started and wasn't able to finish, and doing that for them. I met with my doctor yesterday. I was hoping to get the PICC line out so bad, but she said no. She said I could stop the antibiotics because everything's going really well, but she wants to leave the PICC line in case I need to have the antibiotics started again, and it needs to be done quickly.
Yeah.
I said, well, if you're leaving it in, I might as well do the antibiotics because it's the PICC line that bugs me the most.
Right.
And restricts me from doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
And she said, okay, then let's do that for 2 weeks because she's on vacation next week. But the wound on my right leg is down to the size of a quarter.
Nice.
And so this week she silver nitrated them, which means that it's like cauterizing the ends of the arteries, and so that it heals faster. And she did that on both legs. Kind of burns a little bit for a while, but if it helps me get done with this and these casts off and my legs healed, I'm willing to do whatever.
Yeah.
But it
Home
does
stretch.
appear that everybody is like, they're prepping me with, do you have compression socks for when these heal? Do you have like all this stuff? They want me to prep for when they're done. And that's the first time in 2 years they've had that optimistic outlook. So
That's great.
we're really, really close.
Awesome.
But I got it. What started the bounce back was these special sponges they put on, and it looks like the memory foam from like a bed topper.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it pulls all the fluid away from the wound so that it can be dry and heal. it's amazing. They're like these new things that just came out. It is like, I am totally pain free now. There's actually a layer of skin covering all the nerves.
It's awesome.
So totally pain free, except for that little burning of the silver nitrate.
Yeah.
But other than that, everything's been really good. And I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but it feels like I'm getting there.
Yeah.
And back to the gym. I know that first workout, I am going to be on the floor after like 60 seconds.
Yeah. It's okay.
But I can't wait for that feeling. If you know what you guys know what I mean.
I do.
Totally know what you mean. Yeah.
So, so let's go into our questions of the week. And my first question to everyone is just kind of a tribute to my father and Kat's grandfather. And it's, tell us your favorite memory of your father or father figure. So let's start with Amy, because I know her father.
You do. You know my father. So it's really hard. I know that I'm sure as you guys were thinking about this question, it's really hard to just pick one. But I picked one from very early childhood because it's always been like this running joke in my family. So we had, I was in preschool, and it was like bring your dad to preschool like an evening. And Scott, you'll laugh at this one part because this reminds me of your old days. So we had a snack there, and the snack was Ritz crackers and spray cheese out of a can. I don't know why I remember this so much, but my dad, like, I like had made some, and then I look over and my dad had eaten them, and he has always blamed me for eating them. Like, so we always say, Dad, you ate my snack at Tump's, because that was my preschool. And he's like, no, you ate my snack. And so like, even now when I'm, in my 40s, I'll write a card to him, happy Father's Day, and you ate my snack at Tump's. So
cute.
like, we just still tease each other about eating this snack. So
Your dad is one of the funniest people I've ever met.
If anybody who knows me knows how like inappropriate jokes I make, if you just hang out with either one of my parents, you know where I easily get it. I come by it very honestly.
Well, I used to hang out with your mom at the chiropractor.
Yes. I know.
And your dad at the gym.
Yes.
Kat?
So my dad had a nickname for me. He used to call me Grinny Rinny. I guess I smiled a lot. Grinny Rinny, because Catherine, right? And then he used to turn it into these different names like Grinneth Rinneth. My dad was a song leader at church, so he's got this really deep voice, and he would usually sing that to me all the time. But he used to say something when I was little. He used to always ask me the question, "Why are you so cute? Why are you so cute?" And the answer would always be, "Because you love me," right? And so, like, we say that to each other now, even, and he'll say it to my kids. He's taught it to, his grandchildren and things like that. So the Grinny Rinny, Grinneth Rinneth is always something that I'll be fond of. And then that question, and my dad's still around. So like, he still tells me that all the time. How come you're so cute?
Well, my favorite memory is, it's weird because like people have met my dad recently. Like, my dad has really bad knees from all the years of working on cement floors and all that. But when I was a kid, he was so sneaky athletic, and my dad was completely ambidextrous. He could throw a ball with both hands. He could bat both ways. Like, it was freakish. And my biggest memory is he would play catch with me for hours and hours and hours. And he would try to throw me balls that, like, they were sliders or curve balls or knuckle balls or in the dirt, and he would get this like shitty ass grin on his face when I was surprised by something. And he just loved like doing that to me and catching me off guard. And what it did is it increased my eye-hand coordination at a tremendous rate and my reaction time, because I never knew what was coming. And he might throw with his left hand, might throw with his right hand. You don't know where it's coming from. That means the ball is going to curve a different direction, depending on what arm it's coming, like just crazy stuff. and he had a way of throwing that was super hard. It wasn't necessarily fast, but it would hit your glove in a hard way. And he just would grin about it. And what it did is it made me so good, especially as a pitcher. You don't have a lot of time to react to a ball hit back to you. And I got so good at like snagging balls that were hit right back at me because of all of that stuff that came at me as a kid. And it was just our time of playing with each other. And then when I got to throw curveballs back at him and knuckleballs back at him, and I got to be good, and it was just a ton of fun. But he would do that with the football too, both hands. Wow. He'd throw it underhand, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, the best part about this weekend is when everybody was remembering, and I got to remember like way back when I was a kid, all the stuff we did together. And that was the biggest memory.
Love it.
So the second question might be a clue to a future guest. Just saying. If a genie comes down and says, I will make you an Olympian in whatever sport you want it to be in, what sport would you pick? Kat, you get to go first now.
Easy, gymnastics, 100%. I mean, it's the one thing that I struggle with in CrossFit, so I would love to be great at that. And because growing up as a dancer was kind of related anyway. I probably, based on the way my body is built, I probably should have been a gymnast instead of a ballerina going into it. So definitely that. I did have a thought that maybe because I hate running so much, maybe I should be like an Olympic, I don't know, is there a marathon in the Olympics?
There is.
Something like that, to just so that I would be over the hump, and that would be something that I would enjoy. But I think being a gymnast would be way more fun. Sorry, Aim.
Okay, mine's 100% gymnast.
Yeah, it was pretty easy.
Watching it as a kid. That was my favorite thing, to watch gymnastics in the Olympics. And
you'd have that muscle up.
Right? But I also just think it translates to any sport. Having body awareness in time and space.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Scott, you?
All right. So this is going to be weird because everybody would think I would say swimming because that's kind of like, that was my path for a very long time. But actually I want to be a diver.
Yeah.
A funny story, when I was a senior and our coach gave us the option to swim any event we wanted to swim. And I wrote down dive. And my coach was like, what? I said, I can do all the dives. It's not pretty, but I can do them all. And she goes, are you sure you can do them? And I'm like, I'm sure. So she let me dive in a meet. I got disqualified because of the way I crow hop on the board to make a bigger bounce. But I did all the dives. I think the judges just thought I was making a mockery of the sport. And so they disqualified me. But my sister was a diver when I grew up, and she was really good. I just would want to do that. I think it's something that, like, my body type now would never be able to do, but I'd love to be graceful. And I love flipping in the air. I go off diving boards and do flips and stuff all the time. So I would love to do that.
That's cool. I was a diver in my sophomore year. I dove. It was super fun.
High school or college?
High school. High school. Yeah. I dabbled.
I dabbled in one meet and got disqualified.
That's awesome. Very cool. Yeah, that would be fun. That was a fun question.
So I'm going to turn it over to Kat to tell you who we're having on next week. Oh my gosh. I got to say, the lineup we have waiting for people, it's getting better and better as the days go on.
It really is. So next Monday, we are releasing an episode that we recorded last week with Sam and Jen Dancer, the very pregnant Jen Dancer.
Jacked and pregnant.
The two of them are just the coolest people. I can't wait for them to become parents. They're so kind. I don't think we talked about CrossFit or COVID the entire time during the interview, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, Sam in the first sentence said, "Can we get through this whole thing without talking about that COVID thing.
The thing. Yeah.
And we made it the whole time without saying COVID.
Yeah, it was a really fun. I felt like we could have talked for another hour or two. There were so many other things I wanted to dig into, but they were very gracious with their time. I mean, here they are 10 days away from having a baby, and they just put on this charity event at their box, Q-Town CrossFit. And it was awesome. Awesome to have them. I can't wait for you guys to hear it.
And I do want to give you a huge shout out because it was a really difficult day for me, and Amy couldn't be on. And so you kind of had to take the bull by the horns and go, and you did a great job.
Oh, thanks.
So
it was fun.
So huge shout out.
Thank you.
All right. It's that time of the week. Amy's favorite thing. Best thing from the internet. And go.
Well, I'm excited because if you know me, I love true crime, mostly real true crime stuff, but I'll dabble in some fictional stuff. But I did just see Dexter is coming out with 10 new episodes.
Mm.
So Dexter is the story of a serial killer who kills other serial killers to get them off the street.
And doesn't he work with the police to find the serial killers?
Like he's like a blood spatter expert.
Yeah.
Ah.
I've always been intrigued by it, but I never dove in.
It's pretty good.
Maybe I'll have to do that if new TV doesn't come back.
Really?
Right.
Kat?
So speaking of TV, I fell into a black hole binge watching Designated Survivor on Netflix.
Just did that a couple months ago.
Yeah. So, and I'm not a huge fan of like White House action drama. What was it? National Treasure type stuff. Yeah. The best part about this whole thing is that about 3 weeks ago, my husband was watching this show on Netflix, and he kept saying like, "Hey, I'm watching the show. It's really cool. Do you want to watch it with me?" And I would be sitting in the same room as him and sort of seeing a couple things. And I'm like, no, I'm done. And I would tune out, put my headphones on and do something else or leave the room.
TikTok.
And he watched, he's like, "Oh, it's really good." He watched the whole season. It was great. Well, I guess it was Saturday. I had some downtime and I was just flipping around Netflix and I found this Designated Survivor. And it's a story about during the State of the Union address, the Capitol building is attacked by terrorists and blown to smithereens, and everybody dies. And apparently what happens in the government when there's a big assembly of important people, they choose a designated survivor to not attend the event and keep in like a safe place. And they chose like the cabinet member who's like the head of housing and urban development, like this dorky guy who, well, he's now the president. So basically in like 5 minutes, he becomes the president. He has to deal with this terrorist act. And it's just a really cool story and it gets you hooked. There's lots of conspiracy theories and everything else. Well, I was up until 3 a.m. Saturday night watching this show. And there were still like 8 episodes left. It's like 21 episodes in the series. Like I'm used to like 13, 14 episodes and I just keeps going. I was like, when is this going to be over? Well, the next morning I come down and I'm like, "Chris, you got to see this series. It's so good. Designated Survivor." And he's like, "That's the show I've been watching for the last like 2 weeks that you wouldn't watch with me." And I was like, "Oh, whoops, sorry. It's so good."
Yeah.
So I finally finished it.
The same thing happened to me. My wife started watching it and I was like working on a podcast and I just kind of was catching it and like, wait, that looks really good. Yeah. And so then I got sucked in and her and I watched the whole thing.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was really, really good. I'm in season 2. I don't love season 2 as much and I'm having trouble sort of staying focused, but it was good for season 1.
Yeah. Season 3 kind of dives a little more.
There's more. See, I can only do a few at a time.
So, yeah. So I have 2, but one super short. I promise.
Of course you do. It's okay.
So my first one is my real full best thing from the internet, and it was on Make Pods Great Again. Mm-hmm. So I'm a big music buff. I've said that a couple times before. One of the rock legends passed away last week, and he's actually right there.
There he is. Yep.
Yeah.
And he's been there for all of our podcasts. I don't know if you guys really knew that, but that's Eddie Van Halen. I have two favorite groups, an A and an A1 and an A2, and that's U2 and Van Halen. And it was really sad that he died. John Woolley, who hosts Make Pods Great Again, for people who don't know, went to college to study guitar. And if you look at the backdrop of their podcast, he has some of his vintage guitars behind him. And I've even played guitar for a while. I don't tell a lot of people because I am not Eddie Van Halen. I am not John Woolley. But I dabble. And he is a rock legend to me and a hero. I've seen them in concert 3 times. And so, yeah.
Eddie Van Halen, not John Woolley, right?
John, right. Eddie Van Halen.
Okay.
And John did a great job of kind of describing how it sucked that he died. He's a real genius and kind of described it. And they actually went off on a tangent about how important music is and how it's kind of changed. And he thinks that the downfall of music was when albums went away because that took the storytelling away. Like if you listen to a Van Halen album from cover to cover, it kind of tells you a story. And then all that went away when albums went away. But it's really good. It's only like the first 15 minutes of their podcast, but I was really entranced by it and really appreciated it. My other thing is, I don't know if you remember a couple episodes back, maybe 20, 25 episodes back, my best thing from the internet was seeing reruns of Supermarket Sweep.
Yes.
Did you see they're bringing it back? This Sunday night.
Look at your face. Look how happy you are right now.
Is back with host Leslie Jones from Saturday Night Live.
Oh, that's going to be good.
So if you're not doing anything Sunday night because the games aren't this week and you hear the beep, think of the fun you can have on Supermarket Sweep.
I love it.
Hey, have we talked about the Mike Tyson? Okay.
Slap fighting.
All right. So that's is our
funny.
episode for the week. We want to give a huge shout out to RX Smart Gear and Dave for coming on tonight. He is an amazing guy. I've had a rough week and he's reached out to me, which is so cool. And I thank him for that. Just remember everything in their store. You can get 15% off. How can you do it? Tell them, Kat.
Clydesdale 15, all caps. That's everything except special editions and new releases.
And it can prevent you from doing what, Amy?
Around the world.
So yeah, Clydesdale 15, all caps. Make sure you use that code to get 15% off. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, tell all your friends. I love the comments. We're getting more and more, either on social media or on the YouTube stuff. But I love the debates. I love the back and forth. Andrew Sten is getting super aggressive.
I love it.
And putting posts every week. So that's awesome. And we always like Michael and Bacon and all those guys. But Jaxie16 on Instagram, she's going nuts. Loving it all. It is so fun to read the comments. That brings me joy every week. And I know it does the co-hosts as well. So throw those comments in there. Tell your friends. Spread the word. We're getting bigger and bigger. And the lineup that is coming up is unbelievable. So stay tuned. And we'll see you next time on the Clydesdale Fitness and Friends.
Bye.
See ya.